Petrification, a play for radio by Dave Patchett.
I bring this meeting of the Tavistock Allotment Executive Committee to order. You have the minutes of the last meeting in front of you. Are there any comments?
It's the worst than ever now. My potatoes have a sort of green sheen on them. And my runner beans, never seen nothing like it afore. They're a-growing up the stick, then back down again, and trying to burrow into the soil.
Yes, Dorothy?
Well, the minutes are quite out of date now. They say that 3 of our members have left, but now it's 7 to my knowledge, and counting.
We have to do something and fast. It's that bugger on the south edge. This started 2 years ago, which is exactly when he started.
True, but circumstantial, Harry.
Circumstantial, my ass. No one on our Tavistock allotment has won a single prize at the horticultural show for 2 years.
Except Dr. Modoni.
Except that bugger. We used to win something all the time.
Can I remind you, Harry, that there are ladies present? Please refrain from swearing.
Doesn't bother me. Me neither.
Fair enough, if I can sum up. For 2 years, our crops have been shrinking and growing in strange ways. Also, most of us have found them to be tasteless. Some of us have even taken to buying our vegetables from the supermarkets. We are not only losing members, but they are not being replaced. In short, we face extinction. Further, we are convinced, though without proof, that this Dr. Modoni is responsible. Now, you will notice that we resolved, it's the last item on the minutes, to investigate the doctor in question. Margaret took on that task, so over to Margaret's report. Margaret?
First, I use the internet. His doctorates are science and agriculture. He knows his onions.
That's a good one. My onions can't be peeled. All the skins are all congealed.
Please, let Margaret continue.
Thanks. Well, he's written several bestsellers. The Chemistry of the Soil is the most well-known. He must be very rich. Now he has a new day job. He's become the town magistrate of Whitchurch. I found out his address. 33 Tavistock Road, Whitchurch. Then I did some foot slogging, some real detective work. On foot, although, of course, I drove to Whitchurch in my car at the outset. He has a big house where he lives with his manservant.
I'll bet he's got a bloody great garden. He should never have been allowed an allotment plot.
Oh, no, he hasn't. But I'll come to that later. His manservant, about 35 and quite dashing, was washing the doctor's car when he was called into the house by the man himself. You'll never guess what he called him. The strangest name ever. Vile. I was watching from a phone box opposite. Now, about the garden. He hasn't got one. Just a low-ceiling outhouse with a solar-powered roof. It could be a lab, or who knows.
Is there anything else?
Oh, yes. I made some local inquiries, mainly in the town's public houses. He's considered a pillar of the community. But then, something of interest. In the King's Men, a loose-tongued, rather drunk fellow told me his life had been ruined by Modoni, that he had been set up and kicked out of the lodge. He said the doctor was a very big noise in Freemasonry, and then, realising that he'd just been indiscreet, he climbed up. What's wrong with that? The Masons do very worthy charitable work.
That's a front. If that was all they were up to, why, they wouldn't be a secret society.
Harry makes a good point. Anything else, Margaret?
Well, I think it's about it.
On behalf of us all, I think that Margaret should be thanked for her investigation. It was well above the call of duty.
Yes, very well done, Margaret. But where do we go from here?
We go out tonight and dig up his plot, leaving no stone unturned. I mean, no vegetable unturned.
No, Harry, that would be virtually an act of terrorism. He's a magistrate. We would all go to jail, and where would that leave the allotments? And where would it leave us?
David's right. We should simply confront him. Talk to him. Let him know that we're on to him.
We could demand to see the inside of his shed. There might be incriminating evidence like chemicals and poisonous insecticides and such.
But we must always remember he is to be presumed innocent.
Until he's proven as being as guilty as hell.
I called this meeting today because Madoni is usually here on a Tuesday. We might as well go and see him now. Agreed? Good afternoon, Dr. Madoni. We are the executive committee of our Tavistock allotments, and we've come to speak to you about some very grave matters.
Grave matters?
Indeed, we are threatened with extinction.
Extinction?
Pick a word out of this. Can we come in?
Why, of course you can. You should have said. Come on in, my fellow gardeners.
It's gorgeous! You have electricity and heating and a flush and toilet and hot water. Well, what's this? A water distilling mechanism. And in the corner, a good-looking wheelbarrow.
Will that be all then? The examination of my properties being over? Because I have to go in a minute, if justice is to be served in Whitchurch.
If we can't discuss things with you today, when can we? These are very serious matters.
Serious? Very well then. I myself have some very serious work to do here tomorrow evening. I'll need to sit down when I've finished and wind down. A window of opportunity. I'll try to entertain you, and I'm certain that you will all entertain me.
What time shall we call?
I like your business-like approach, David.
How do you know my name?
I attended the last 2 AGMs. I know all of your names. 8 p.m. No earlier and no later.
We could be barking up the wrong tree. There was nothing at all incriminating in there. Precisely. Most suspicious. Our sheds are full of paraphernalia. Tools, knives, string, bamboo sticks, bowls of seeds and bags of compost. It's as if we cleaned up, knowing we were closing in on him.
You're easily fooled, Dorothy. It's a good job we've got a proper detective on our side.
Why, Harry, it's the nicest thing you ever said about me. For our next visit to the southern edge, I'm going to wear my Shetland jumper.
Shetland? What's she on about, David?
The killing.
The killing? What's he on about, Dorothy?
Don't ask me.
It's 7:55 on the night of the window of opportunity. We are inside Madoni's splendid shed. His mobile rings.
Yes? You're in position? If no one comes out, just go home. You get the night off. The target is only a lightweight. You can pick it up and carry it to the vehicle. Leave no traces. And one more thing. The disposal needs to be thorough. I know that you have done it before, but care, not complacency. The thermometer is neither here nor there, but to be safe, take that to headquarters and grind it into 1,000 pieces. Flush it or feed it to the cat or something. I know we haven't got a cat. Wait, I almost shut the door. Good. Good evening, my friends. So many visits. I am spoiled.
Well, on the way in, we noticed black plastic sheets glistening under the full moon, covering your plot. We thought that rather strange.
Ah, that is the work I was telling you about. I'll explain in good time. First, the refreshments. I have bought us a bottle of wine from Magaluf, an awful tourist trap. But in the hinterland, superb vineyards. This one was bottled in 1984, a very good year. Howie?
I suppose so.
Dorothy?
Rather.
David?
Thank you.
And last of all, and most of all, Margaret.
Oh, no thanks. Just water for me.
Water for me too. Tap or distilled?
Same as you, please.
Distilled then. There. Everyone catered for. Now you can tell me what's on all of your mind.
It's our vegetables. They're all growing funny colours and distorted and smaller, sort of wrinkled up.
Yes, and what has that got to do with me?
Funny how it started 2 years ago when you came here. Funny how your vegetables are thriving.
Funny? There you go, Howie. I finally picked a word from you.
It ain't funny.
Well, make up your mind. Is it funny or is it ain't funny?
It isn't funny. Every week we're losing gardeners. At this rate, by next year the allotment will be derelict.
As early as that? I still can't see how I'm connected to all of this.
How do you explain, like Harry said, how your plot is the only one unaffected?
Well, that is easy. I am a far better gardener. I have studied all things horticultural. Plus, I can synchronise science into the equation. If I had time, you could learn much from me, like how to grow things properly.
I find that somewhat insulting.
Very insulting. We've been growing crops as good as anywhere round here for nigh on 30 years.
Well, that was yesteryear. Plagues come and plagues go. We have to know how to protect our plants from them. We need to find out the secrets of which are the hardiest seeds or of which are the superior composts. Look how you have neglected the effect of the moon tonight. A travesty from a plant's point of view.
I teach 5th year science at Tavistock Grammar, and I've never heard such nonsense.
I know you do, Margaret. Well done. Though it must be mortifying. Horticultural lesson number 101. The moon has a different kind of light to the sun. It is a cold light and it is harmful to the plants. It putrefies organic growth. Did you know that the moon's light is colder than the moon's shadow?
You're insane. Everyone knows that the moon's light is merely a reflection of the sun. You must be making it up as you go. I challenge you to prove your hypothesis.
Better yet, prove it to yourself through a very simple experiment. I have a very good thermometer here. Go outside and take a weeding in the moonlight, and then watch the temperature go up 1.5 degrees when you place it in the shade.
All right, I will.
I'll go with...
No need, David. We don't need a witness. Everyone knows that Margaret is an entirely honest and honourable woman. It will only take 2 minutes, and meanwhile, let me top up your glasses. I am very sympathetic to the allotment's problems, but what can I do, except to offer expert advice?
I'm feeling a little strange.
You are a little strange, Dot. May I call you that? No answer seems to be forthcoming. You go through life accepting the written word and the televised voices of your presumed betters. You think that Alan Titchmarsh is a very smart gardener. He is not. You don't really think at all. Not independently. And that is strange. You should be more like your friend Margaret. She is a rose of well-defined forms and a sense of adventure. She would have made an excellent detective too. I admired her greatly.
I'm finding it hard to move properly.
Are you? That is another strange thing. Perhaps you are becoming a vegetable.
Why hasn't Margaret come back? Why did you just use the past tense?
Did I? Huh. What a to-do. Something tells me that Margaret is not coming back. That she's left her garden gang and disappeared into the ether. What do you think? Any of you? Well, now, I suppose I'll have to entertain myself, since my guests seem to have acquired a trance-like state of being. I want to talk of my favourite word, petrification, better than putrefaction, which I have already dealt with. Petrification. Have you ever woken from a nightmare and you can't move, but there is an overwhelmingly evil presence engulfing you? You are petrified. Can you feel it now? I think you do. Have you ever heard of petrified wood? I believe that they found some on the moon. My little joke, but you wouldn't get it anyway. It is more likely found in Siberia. It's when a previously organic structure has assumed an immovable density. And that is the second meaning of the word, petrification. Remarkably, you three paralysed garden gnomes qualify in both kinds of petrification. I have had enough of this cruelty. You are not in any danger. In an hour or so you'll come out of your petrified condition and be almost the same as you were. You will thank me for teaching you a valuable lesson. You simply cannot stand in the way of progress. We have great plans for this land. All of it! Of course, I have a motive for my generosity in allowing you to live. I might need you as witnesses in the unlikely event of an investigation into the disappearance of Margaret. If and when you return to life, any one of you dares to interfere in my affairs again, I will not be so lenient. This party has turned into a dull affair, so I'm going home now. Of course, I will have to remove you from my property first. I always knew that one day my wheelbarrow would come in handy. Is there to be no rest for the wicked?
Commentary and credits by Matthew Shelton Jones. Dr. Modoni is played by Guy Dixon. David is played by Wayne Liversidge. Margaret and Dorothy are played by Elisa Hyde. Harry is played by John Benford. Sound effects and editing are by Adam House Music Limited.